All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm sitting here with Dr. Jones as we are recording this podcast as we are shifting gears, going into the book of Philippians and just trying to see what it's going to look like over this next month as we just kind of do all of our devotions right out of the book of Philippians. And last week it was about joy in partnership.
Yeah.
So as you got into it last week, did any of those days really stick out to you?
Yeah, last Monday, it was Philippians 1, 3 through 8, and the devotional thought of the day was Paul's joy in chains is fueled by the people God placed beside him. His confidence is not in the Philippians' faithfulness, but in God's, who always finishes what he begins. But the prayer focus of that day was, Father, bring to mind today the people you have placed in my life as gospel partners. Give me a heart of genuine affection and gratitude for them. And I wrote down on that day is that one of the most disheartening things that we see happening in the church today is the fact that some people do not have genuine joy when they see the people they worship with.
Wow.
And so it's like, and I think I mentioned this last time we met and recorded, but it's like, how can you come to church with people who have been united with Christ, you also, and didn't have a disdain for that individual or see them as not as a partner, but as an adversary, right? And so one of the things on that day was to go ahead and pray. And it says, write down an area. No, that's the wrong one. It says, write or send a brief note of encouragement to someone in your faith community today. Tell them specifically one way you have seen God at work in their life. And I've done that over the course of our engagement process as well. And so it's good to go ahead and send those things out because even if you look at people who you've been worshiping with for a while, you've seen their growth. And if you've seen it, go ahead and share with them that. And like, I know for me, like Sunday is the best day of the week for me because it's like, even if you feel down, the whole weight of the world is on you. When you get to be around people who genuinely want you to flourish, who genuinely want you to win, who genuinely want you to grow in your faith, it's like it helps you to go ahead and keep going. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
So it's like I love Wednesday night and Sunday morning. Some people hate it, but I love it. So because we're in partnership together, and so I think of my church family as an actual family. So what about you?
Well, I was just thinking about something you said when you mentioned that about writing those cards and those notes. And you have no idea what they mean to people when you get them.
That's true.
It's amazing how God just works things out. Like we was over in Jacksonville this weekend with football, and a friend of mine from Birmingham, he was in Jacksonville, and we connected, and so we were just talking, and I was just kind of sharing some things that's going on, and he really helped me to see some things, and he told me something that somebody else has told me, but I hadn't even it's been a while, but he said, Reggie, you one of the most successful people I know. And I said, really? I said, because he said, yeah, because he said, you love the Lord, man, you're walking in the purpose in which God has created you. Your family is doing well with the Lord. And he said, man, you're one of the most successul people that I know. And he had no idea how that impacted me to hear him say that. Because I just been, I wouldn't say struggling, just thinking about some things and just trying to figure out, Lord, what is going on. And, well, I sure don't feel like successful, you know, but then as he just reminded me that all God calls us to do is be faithful.
That's it.
You know, and when we can grasp being faithful, you're going to automatically be successful in God's eyes.
That's
right. So that was, and so those cards that you see, because I know I've gotten text messages from you, and just keep sending them because you just never know how the impact they make. People may never tell you because I don't text you back and say, man, this was awesome. Every now and then I hit you back with something, but you just never know. And so so just keep sending those because you just never know what the impact that they're making. They do make a difference.
Amen.
Yeah, but for me, I was the one that stood out to me was when on Thursday from Philippians 1:19 through 26. The devotional thought is Paul is torn, not between fear and courage, but between two genuine goods, the joy of being with Christ and the joy of serving others.
Yeah.
When your life is fully his, even death becomes gain. So as you just read through that, just see how Paul is wrestling with this concept of dying or staying,
right?
You know, and that is where you really want to go. That's where you really want to be.
Yep.
To, you know, he said, and then the thing that really got me was Paul said that, you know, I know I'm for me it would be better for me to go on to be with God, but it's more needful for you.
Yeah.
But I had always wondered, well, how in the world did Paul know that he was not going to die? You know, how did he know? And I always thought it was because of his relationship with God. That's part of it. But God had also told him that he was still going to testify in front of Caesar. And so Paul never forgot what God had told him. You know, and so as we spend time in God's word and we engage him, and we can't never forget what he say.
That's right.
And we can't allow a current situation to derail what God has already promised. So in order for him to be able to testify in front of Caesar, he has to be alive. So he know, and that's what God has for him to do. So he knows that. So I'm just like, man, how often do I allow what I'm currently facing to, I wouldn't say derail, but
that's probably
delay me going through what I'm going through in the right mindset, because I've allowed what I see, feel, and think impact what God has already said. You know, so that one really stood out to me. And that's what you want to be to be able to be ready to go. And so then you see that when you fast forward the clock and you get to 2 Timothy, you see why Paul is so excited, because he's fulfilled everything that God had called him to do.
That's right.
And when you get off work, it's time to go home.
Sure enough.
And so Paul said, ain't no such thing, because ain't nobody, did you wait around the office on Friday when you got off?
Absolutely not.
When the clock struck, you got up out of there. You just, hey man, let's hang around here. You got out of there.
We out.
And so that's what Paul was doing. And so that one really connected well with me on that one.
Yeah, I love that day too.
Yeah. So next week, any other ones stood out to you?
No, just that one, because I think the practical task is what got me. It says, meditate on the phrase "to live as Christ." What would it practically mean for your daily schedule, your conversations, and your priorities if Christ were truly the measure and meaning of your life? Then write 3 specific implications. One thing I thought about when I read it that day was, okay, even in this engagement process, where you're helping us to go ahead and focus on our job being a mission field, right? When we go to the grocery store, how are we leveraging those opportunities and those moments where we can go ahead and engage with the people that are there, right? Those are 2 major things. And I'm like, if I don't do that, what are the implications of that? It's more of about me rather than Christ. Is that safe to say? You know what I'm saying? If I'm not leveraging those opportunities to go ahead and share Christ. Because if Paul said for me to live is Christ and then to die is gain, how am I living? Right? You know what I mean?
So it sounds like you're saying a Christian is who I am.
Yes, that's it.
And so
not what I do.
So every moment.
Yeah.
It's not even necessarily about, I know what you mean by leveraging, but I want to get to the point where it's not about leveraging. It's just about it's the rhythm that it automatically shows up, and how I can engage people in these gospel conversations. And to get to those gospel conversations, sometime it may take some time getting to know people.
Yes.
And spending time and even just having regular conversations.
That's it. Yeah.
And then those gospel conversations, they're going to begin to come, because people. One thing I know about people, there's a lot of curiosity that people have.
It is.
And I think the way God created everything, as like he talks about in Romans 1, like the things that may be known about God, we know them because He's placed them in us. And I think there's a curiosity that is already there. And the more comfortable a person is with you, the more open they'll be willing to have these real conversations.
That's true.
Because most of the time, it's almost like people have been programmed. I'm going to say what you want me to say so I can get you to go on.
Yeah.
Rather than somebody want to sit down and really have a real conversation.
That's real talk.
And so just as we get to know people, I think that's what...
that's a good point.
That's what begins to happen. So next week, the week we're in currently now, we're moving to week number 2. I think it's talking about the mind of Christ.
My God.
So he says if week 1 is about the joy of partnership, week 2 reveals the posture that makes true partnership possible. Humility.
Yeah.
The centerpiece is the great hymn of Philippians 2:5-11 that's talking about Jesus laying aside, but really a picture of the incarnation. It's a picture of actual humility, the humility that Jesus displayed.
It is.
And it's perhaps one of the most majestic theological passages in the entire letter. We are called to have the same mind as Christ. So as you look and peruse those, any of them stand out to you or stick out to you?
Yeah, Sunday was a good one for me. It's a familiar passage where it talks about, putting others' interests above your own. And I try to do that each and every day. I try to go ahead and make sure that, or rather than try to train myself to go ahead and do that.
I like that. Train yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying to replace try with train.
Amen. That's good.
And so it's, I tried to go,
I'm training.
I trained myself. I'm trying to train myself to go in order to do that. That's what really stuck out to me, because I think that we are, and you say this a lot, and it's the truth, we're selfish by nature. We think of ourselves more than we think about others. And but one thing that I thought about that day was I asked the Lord to help me to discern between putting the interests of others above my own, and also to discern between enabling others. Because I think that a lot of times we enable people rather than doing the opposite of holding their interests above our own. And so I wanted to be able to discern that, because a lot of times people get comfortable with you doing things for them, serving them in a certain way, and it gets to the point where they just are using you and you're enabling them to go ahead and continue with that behavior. And it's one other thing to go ahead and put their interests above your own. I don't know how to really I don't have the wording to go ahead and kind of describe that. Maybe you can help me out with that. I don't know.
Well, I'm just, as you were talking, I was just wondering about, like, is there something in the way that we posture ourselves that will cause them to want to try to use us? They may even start out trying to use us. Yeah. But because of the relationship, the genuineness of the relationship, it stops. Like I think about these movies where, yes, this is Hollywood, but where there's this person that's trying to win somebody over because they're trying to get something out of them, and they hire somebody, and as they get to know the person, they don't want to do the job anymore because the relationship has developed, and now this that they didn't mind doing on the front end, they don't want to do it anymore because of relationship. And I can't help but wonder that as we approach it that way, I wonder if that will begin to kind of cut that off, because you know them, and like everybody has a need to be known, to be heard, to be communicated with, to be treated as an image bearer. And I think when you do that breaks down those barriers. That's good, and so that's what I was thinking. But also on the other side of that, God even may allow that. Like even Paul talks about, whether they're preaching Christ or just try to stave me off or not. It doesn't matter as long as Christ is preached. That's true. And so and the other component I think is the grace of God. Grace is sufficient. That God gives you the grace to be able to manage that situation in a way that's going to bring Him honor and glory. And so just a combination of those things, I think that helps us to not get caught up into not being used, because people will use you. So, and you're right, it is a thin line, but I think because of God's grace, we can err on the side of of grace.
Yeah.
And let God work out all the difficulties.
That's true.
The ramifications.
Let's go with that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that would work. What about you?
To me, it was one actually for today.
Okay.
Just in Philippians 2:5-8, you know, and where he begins to talk about he emptied himself, and like I was looking at that the phrase, where he talks about, oh man, what did he say? Where he did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped, and so that word grasp means to hold on to, and what he was talking about is that when he became a human, he didn't try to hold on to any of the things that would give him an unfair advantage, like his love for us, his desire to fulfill his mission.
Wow.
Enabled him to just let all that go so he can have this full human experience.
Wow.
He was not trying to lean on any of the deity that he has to cause him not to have an unfair advantage. He needed to experience what we experience so he can help us when we come to him. So so then he allowed himself to go through all these things, but because of his love for us. And so that's what Romans is talking about. But God commended his love. He demonstrated his love while we were yet sinners. He died because he did all this with Jarvis is going to come, so I'm going to go.
Right.
Let me do this for him so he can. No, he did that because of his love. You know, and so that's what really stood out to me, because the devotional thought for that today was, the Son of God did not clutch his divine privileges. He set them aside and descended all the way to a criminal's cross. Not because he ceased to be God, but because love refused to stop short of the ultimate cost.
Wow.
Because that's what it's going to require of him. It's going to require his life.
Oh my God.
And so he did not hold on to any of those his deity to help him to endure that. No, I need to feel this. Whew. So that when we come to him, we don't come to a high priest who cannot sympathize with us. But he was tempted in all points like us, yet without sin. So that really just resonated in my heart about his love for us. And so
that's a different kind of humility.
Yes.
That's an otherworldly humility.
Yes, and it's a voluntary and it's voluntary.
Yeah.
He volunteered for this mission.
He going in with no gun, no sword, nothing to protect. Everything.
He volunteered. I love him. I'm gonna die for him.
No merit, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna die for him.
Yeah.
I can't fathom that. I can't.
But
I can't understand it.
Yeah. Anything else stood out to you, brother?
Nah, just this week gonna be good because I need to be humble.
My.
Walking this mind of Christ.
Yes. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, which means it's possible for us.
This union thing keep coming up, though.
Yeah, it's amazing how since February, how many times we've talked about it. I bet you we've talked about union every single month.
I want to say yes.
Every single month.
If not explicitly, implicitly so.
And if not, we talk about a body.
Yeah, that's it. There you go.
Goes back to
union.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right. Dr. Jones, you got any closing remarks or final words for?
Not at all.
For the members of Unity?
No, thank you.
All right. Well, if the bishop is done,
okay,
we're gonna sign off.
Here we go.
Nah, see, I didn't even call you.
It don't matter. That's the original one y'all started with.
Well, we're gonna go back to that. God bless y'all. May the Lord bless you. May He keep you. May He smile upon you and give you peace. Love you guys.
Yeah.